Carbohydrates get a bad rap. Several diets suggest you severely limit them, but carbohydrates are not dastardly denizens determined to cause you harm. In its simplest form, a carbohydrate is fructose, which is found in fruits, some vegetables, and refined sugars, and glucose, or blood sugar, which comes from vegetables, grains, legumes, and refined sugar. Glucose is our fuel. Our brain, muscles, nervous system, and blood cells need it to function. We ingest glucose and use it immediately as energy, store it as glycogen in our liver, or store it as fat. Fructose is broken down in the liver and turned into glucose, lactate, or fat. If you are seeing a trend with glucose and fructose, you are not alone. Both turn to fat if they are not used. Fructose more easily, but glucose also. Additionally, glucose, if overeaten, may cause insulin resistance, a precursor to diabetes. In nature, both glucose and fructose are part of more complex foods. Fructose is found in fruits, and glucose is found in grains, beans, and vegetables. Of course, we would not be human if we didn't mess with nature. What's the fun of eating something fresh or natural when we can alter it? We take fructose, add it to glucose, and call it sugar, or high fructose corn syrup. In addition to sweets and drinks, we add sugars or high fructose corn syrup to everything. Don't think so? Check the labels of processed foods at your grocery store. Ketchup? Check. Cereals and breads? Yep. Salad dressings, yogurts, and canned fruit? Check, check, and check. Of course, grains, beans, and vegetables have glucose, and they are healthy. Therefore, glucose can't be bad. Additionally, glucose is a fuel we use to make our engines go. So what's wrong with it? If glucose is eaten in whole grains, beans, and vegetables, nothing. But those foods have one thing in common: fiber. Fiber slows down digestion of glucose and acts as our internal roto-rooter. Glucose eases its way into the blood system, allowing insulin, its bodyguard and escort, a chance to deliver it to the liver, brain, and muscles at its leisure. Fiber also helps you feel fuller, so you eat less and therefore have less glucose to digest. Remember, excess glucose is stored as fat. Let's get back to us and nature. We love fiddling with it. We take a nice fiber-rich grain. By the way, it also has vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, powerful little radical fighters that keep us young, and we throw them away. We strip them from the grain, leaving nothing but a tiny amount of fiber, a few vitamins and minerals, and glucose. Of course, we might add a little sugar to it to make it go down easier. We have white bread, pizza dough, chips, pasta, and a host of other popular tasty grains. We end up with a refined carbohydrate, a once great grain or fruit, barren. Fructose with nowhere to go except your fat cells, and glucose with tired insulin escorts, and bloated fat cells waiting with open arms. Does that mean avoid refined carbohydrates at all costs? Of course not. Sweets and refined breads are great in small amounts and on occasion. However, most of the time, make sure your glucose and fructose are joined by their fiber-containing friends. Eat vegetables, whole fruits, and whole grains, and skip or at least limit refined carbohydrates. Your fat cells will hate you, but the rest of your body will rejoice.